Hey guys! Hey, my name is Morgann Crook. You're on my Facebook, and I've been in direct sales, which can also be called network marketing, I suppose, for 10 years. And I am having one of those days that's like, I can't. I'm like, you know when you feel like this is your level of, I can't even think right now. This is the level of patience, and you're already like, you waking up and you're right here. Like that was me this morning, and I wasn't having it with the kids. I got mad at them, and I was just like so happy to walk them to school and like send them on their merry way for the day. And I came home and I like cleaned the house for an hour, and I was like, I've got to get myself out of this because this is like not a happy headspace, right? So, I cleaned that for an hour. I feel a little bit better about the way things look around here. And then I did some personal development, and I watched a video, and it just sort of made me think. It was about the industry, right? And it just kind of got me thinking about how I first heard about this industry, which at the time I didn't know anything about it because I grew up in a super traditional household, and my dad had a regular job. My mom stayed home with us until I was in middle school, and then went and worked part-time at a regular job. None of their friends worked in network marketing or direct sales. Like I just wasn't exposed to it at all. So it just got me thinking of my first experience, and I feel like I've shared this with a few people, and ironically the girl who this story is about is one of my Facebook friends, and I don't like feel like I'm disparaging her by saying this story. Hi Melissa. But I feel like I have to share it because it's so crazy and so not the way anybody, literally anybody I know runs their network marketing business. So you'll hear that word network marketing, you'll hear MLM, multi-level marketing, you'll hear direct sales. They all are very similar. I think direct sales typically maybe is more inferred of a party type plan company. I consider what I do direct sales, although LimeLife by Alcone is not a party plan company. I don't do parties, and I do one-on-ones, and I do things in people's homes. And I guess if somebody really wanted me to like create a Facebook party or something to do online and virtually, I would do that for them, but that's not like what this is. However, I do consider it direct sales. But there's a lot of other, there's thousands of these businesses out there, right? And this is my third one. So all three of my companies that I've been with, I would consider to be direct sales or party plan type companies. And I also want to point out that there's nothing wrong with leaving one company and doing something different in the same industry. You should never be shamed for that, even if it's within the same type of product, which is what I just did. I just left a company that sold makeup for a company that sells quality makeup and skincare. So you got to find your right fit, and there's nothing wrong with switching it up and finding the home for you, right? However, let me tell you about my first story. So I was, probably 6 months out of college, right? Hi, Kara. And I ran into a college girlfriend who lived, like 30 miles away from me. And I was working at Nordstrom at the time, and she came in and I helped her, and I was, she was a year older than me in school. And she was like, oh, we've got to have dinner. And I was like, sure, that sounds fun. I'm like 22. I'm recently moved because I went to school in Pullman, 300 miles away from where I'm from. Hey, Lisa. And ended up living back at home. Actually, no, I think at this time I'd moved out and I was living in an apartment with my best friend. But, I was still like trying to like reacclimate, right? And try to make new friends. And like, it's a whole new world when you're fresh out of college, right? So I'm like, sure, of course I want to go to dinner. Like this wasn't somebody that I was close with in college or even like friends with, but we were friendly, right? I was in a sorority, like we were all like friends, right? And so she picks me up And she had told me that she wanted to go to the Tacoma waterfront for dinner, which I was like, oh, that sounds great. But I also lived like 3 or 4 miles from the Tacoma waterfront, so it was very close. So she's like, I just need to stop by my friend's house on the way, if that's okay. So let's just pause right there. That was the first thing that she said to indicate that something else was going to happen. Was I need to stop by a friend's house on the way. Which, if you're a normal person, you're not thinking, Katie, you're not thinking anything weird is about to happen because your friend who just picked you up to go to dinner said, I need to stop by another friend's house on the way. You think that's all you're going to do. So she drives me to Fife, which those of you who don't live around here, Fife is probably 10 miles the other direction from where we were and where we were going. And I was like, oh, that's odd. Like, that's not on the way, but oh, whatever. Like, we're hanging out, we're chatting. And yeah, the big setup, you're right. So I get there and it's like a whole house of people and it's like all of these people and it was all adults. And I was so confused. Like, I was so blindsided and confused. And she's like, okay, we just have to sit down for a minute. And I was like, really starting to think something is weird right now. So you guys, I already feel better. I was having the crappiest morning and now I'm telling a story and I feel so much better. This is great. Okay, so we sit down and boom into the presentation, which again, I'm in direct sales. We don't really do like the presentation. That's just not how our business runs. We're much more interpersonal. And so I sit there pissed. And at this point, I'm like, I'm so blunt, Brooke. I am like, I thought we were going to dinner. Now I'm hungry. There's no alcohol here. Like, what's going on? Like, I want a beverage. I want my food. And I don't want to be in this person's living room listening to a presentation that honestly, I can't remember a word they said because I was literally mentally checked out the second that they started talking because I was like, what's happening here? So I'm not going to go bash a company. I'm not gonna say what company this was, but it was definitely one of those companies that bamboozles you into a presentation to try to get you involved in their company and their amazing opportunity without you even knowing that it's happening to you. So you guys know I love to do my Sunday business school. We'll just have this like be a little bit of a moment of that. Don't ever bamboozle someone into a presentation of your opportunity or your business or your products without them knowing what they're getting into because it's sick and disgusting and it's not fun and it makes the other person feel dirty. And I felt dirty and literally I had to go to dinner with this girl afterwards and I didn't even know what to say because I'm 22. You know, I've always been a fairly confident person, but I'm also a very, I would say, reserved person. I don't share my feelings about things a lot of the time. Katie says, wait, so she didn't give you a clue when you were on your way? No, the clue was we have to stop by my friend's house. I didn't know what to say and I totally clammed up and I'm sure my chest is getting red now because I'm just thinking of that moment and how uncomfortable it made me. And I was literally like sitting there waiting for dinner to end so she could take me home because I was just, Maria, you have to watch this from the beginning. I was literally like, this is so weird and wrong and I don't really need to ever see you again. I got over it. We're Facebook friends now. I comment on her pictures. I'm like happy for her success. I have no idea what she does or if she's even, honestly, she didn't really even talk to me about the business when we were at the dinner. She sort of brought it up a little bit and I was like, that's not for me. Like, that's not for me. And I was just like shutting the conversation down. I didn't want to have any part of the conversation. I don't know if she's in that business. I have no clue. I don't even care. I don't care. Personally, I think everybody should be in the business and the enterprise that makes them happy. I think that is the biggest thing that you can do in your life where you're working for somebody or working for yourself and it fulfills you and it fills your cup and it makes you happy, okay? I can't imagine putting people into that weird position would make you happy. Am I right? I mean, obviously everybody works and has an industry because they want to make money and support their family and have nice things and be able to give back to others, right? However, there's that seesaw where you can't always be thinking about money. You have to be thinking about other people, which brings me to this kind of, I was like thinking, okay, so I have to think about, like, that is the exact opposite of anything that I would ever coach on, ever do. So what is the type of person that I am looking for? Because I would be very direct. So I'm going to give you guys the people that I want to work with, because I also just got an amazing referral from one of my Facebook friends who I don't know actually I do know her in person. We met in Disneyland. No, we were Facebook friends for a while, and she's a friend of a friend. And then last year when we went to Disneyland in October, she was going to be there at the same time. And we literally like met up and chatted in person in Disneyland. Isn't that funny? But she just gave me the most beautiful referral, and it literally brought tears to my eyes and made me cry, because I was just so touched that that's the way that she thought of me. And she is in our industry. She works for another company that doesn't sell makeup and skincare. And she thought, you know, I know somebody that would work so well with Morgann. And of course, I'd rather her join my company, but I don't think that's her passion. So that's going to be my first thing, is you kind of have to figure out what gets you going. When I first got into this industry, I was in a clothing company, and it was designer clothing. It was brought to your home. It was a full fashion presentation. It was so up my alley, and I loved doing it. And I did cabbie for 7 years. Then I accidentally got into Unique because I bought a mascara, and I was like, wow, this is really good. Everyone needs to have this. And it kind of snowballed into something way bigger, but it really wasn't my home and where I felt comfortable. And that's when I was looking for other opportunities, and I ended up in LimeLight by Alcone, because I realized I really do love working with people one-on-one, which is what I was doing with cabbie. I really love making people feel more confident. That's my tagline. I want to be a confidence builder. I want people to come away from their interactions with me and feel better about themselves and really feel more confident in whatever they're going to do. And so having great skin, you know, having like a little bit of makeup on, or just feeling better about themselves personally, is what I want. That is what I want. So I ended up with LimeLight, which I'm so happy. I can't see myself going anyplace else. I love the dynamic of our team and the company and everything that they preach. But here's what I'm looking for, and here's what I want. So if you guys know somebody like this, maybe you are somebody like this, and I'm just kind of getting you thinking. First of all, you don't have to be a makeup person. And I haven't even gone into this before, but I'm not a makeup person. I have turned into one, but you guys should have seen 4 years ago what my makeup drawer looked like. And it was literally, I probably had, like, I remember my husband gave me a Clinique lipstick for like Mother's Day. And then I had I've always loved red lips. I had my great MAC Viva Glam lipstick. And then, I'm not even kidding, I wish I had some examples here, but I threw them all away. Literally, I paid literally a ton of Clinique, Lancome, whatever, the free samples. Like every time there was like the free gift at Nordstrom or the Bon, Macy's now, I'd be like, okay, what do I need? Okay, then I can get the gift, and that'll have like the colors and the makeup and stuff. That's all I ever used for makeup. Plus I didn't know how to put it on. I probably used a total of like 4 products ever. I'm totally on a tangent here. That's okay. I was like a tinted moisturizer, always mascara, always a bold lip, or like some sort of like fun, like nudie pink type lip. And probably like a little blush or bronzer. Maybe some eyeliner, but hardly ever. And so I actually put this face on today because this is the face that I used to always have. I did my brows today, which I never paid any attention to ever until I started with this beauty industry. But I have like a little bit of, this is what I'm using right now. Normally I use my LimeLight foundation, but my Blenderful is upstairs and this was down here. This is a Laneige BB Cushion. This is I actually kind of love this makeup. This is I would call it it's an SPF 50, but it's a tinted moisturizer, broad spectrum sunscreen that's got a little bit of tint to it. So it's just like really sheer and light. So I put this on a lot when I'm not like going to work, or I just don't have my blender full or anything handy to put on my LimeLight foundation. So I do like this. Mascara and lips. Oh, and I do have some, a little bit of blusher and bronzer on. Super easy, basic, and not basic like super basic, extra basic. That's like the term now. It's just like simple, okay? So my point is, to get into this industry, you don't need to know a ton. I don't say industry. To get into this company, if you wanted to work with me, you do not need to have a ton of knowledge about skincare or makeup, how to use it, how to apply it, what ingredients, blah, blah, blah. That's all easily trainable. That's not what I'm looking for. But I do want somebody who cares about skincare and or makeup, because that's the first thing you need to care about. And Kelly's on here. Kelly and I used to sell clothing together with Cabby because we both loved clothes. And it was so fun to work with people. And we're both really friendly, outgoing, interpersonal people who like to help other people. So like that worked great for both of us, right? Okay. Most important thing to me is I want to find independent workers. I want people who like to work on their own, who like to discover and research and figure things out on their own. That describes me. And I think if I could describe my perfect business partners, it would be people who worked like me. I'm always there to answer questions. I'm always there to help motivate and have like collaborative efforts, but I like to work independently. And I think this industry works great if you are focused and you can work independently. Okay. I also don't want people who need constant support all the time. Like, you have to be an independent worker to succeed in this industry. And it's great to hold your hand and push you up and keep you going for, you know, the first few weeks. But then I've got to like let the baby bird fly, right? Okay. Number 2, thinks big picture. You can't be overly focused on the immediate issues. And by issues, I mean like a customer issue, a product issue, a like interaction with somebody that's not going right. You can't be thinking here. You always have to be thinking here. You have to understand that the current situation doesn't determine your future. It's just what you're dealing with right now. So you've always got to be thinking big picture, always. And that comes to everything from, you know, the way you're interacting with people, to how much sales you have, to what the company looks like and what the growth is and what it's going to look like. You always have to be out here. Trust me on this one. Number 3, and this is really important to me, genuinely wants great things for good people. You can't be successful in direct sales or network marketing, and this goes back to my story completely, if you're thinking about personal gain and trying to like weasel in and, you know, work out things that might not be necessarily ethical or in that other person's best behavior. You have to want great things for other people. I would say that is one of the easiest secrets to success, is if you're looking out for other people more than you're looking out for yourself, you know, things are going to come to you. It's so simple. And that comes down to not only sales, but team building and just helping people that don't even affect you, you know, in terms of your paycheck. You're always looking out for other people, right? Okay, number 4, this kind of goes back to thinks big picture, but I want somebody who, I crossed out the word SHIT in case any children were watching and wrote the word nonsense, puts up with no nonsense, but stays positive. Like this morning, I was putting up with no nonsense with my kids. No, not having it. And I had to stay positive. And I did my best. But literally, you have to be able to work through challenging situations and come out of it with a positive mindset. You can't let it bring you down. Those kind of situations happen to all of us in all walks of life all the time. Okay, let's see. Can determine your motivation. Like, what is your motivation? Why do you want to do this? And what is your why? And that is something that evolves over time. But I think once you get a clear picture of that, it really makes it easy to succeed and, you know, find greater success for you and more people. And something that, like, this is an example with LimeLight. We don't do what's called kidnappers. So a kidnapper is, you know, when you see a company advertise you know, the value of their business kit. And it's only this much money and you can just buy it and you never have to do anything else and there's no strings attached. And, you know, you might want to do something with the business or not, but here's your great kit. We don't do that. We don't advertise that. And those are the type of people who are best your customers. If they want to try things out, if they want to be, you know, getting some samples or trying products and wanting to check things out, then have them buy stuff or give them samples. Like, if your motivation is that, then that's not the right fit here. Okay. And then the last thing that I'm looking for is somebody who's social. And I don't mean that you're always out like super extrovert, talking to people, like making friends everywhere you go. Like, that's great. You don't have to be that person, but you have to not be afraid of being social. And the flip side of this is not only are you social, but you don't want to live afraid. And a lot of times people get stifled in what they're doing because they're just afraid to like move forward a little bit, right? And that's no fun and that's no good. So I want people who don't want to live like that. I can help train for that, right? I can help build confidence. I can help build skills. I can help, you know, train on all sorts of things, but that has to come from within where you don't want to live afraid. And here's a perfect example, Facebook Live. Like, if somebody doesn't want to do Facebook Live because they're too afraid, they need to get over that hump before they could probably be successful in this business. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That is my list. And I've never really written this down before, but I think it's super fun and I'm going to tweak this. But those are the type of people that I'm looking to work with, that I'm looking to help build business with and take our company and take other people with me to the top. Last night I posted that I am 1 point away from earning the incentive trip that was, I think the earning period goes through October, so it should be no problem. But it's an incentive trip with LimeLight to Aruba in March, which I am so excited about. And I am, you know, this is the kind of people who I work with that are helping get me there, and the kind of customers that are referring people to me that are helping me do that. And I want to help other people do that too and get to the place that I am. It's really fun and it's really good. And I will also say, back to that big picture thing, if you think getting into network marketing or direct sales is a great way for fast, easy money, that is not the big picture. That is the small picture. So there is definitely an opportunity in terms of sales for you to make, I would say, pretty decent money, but that's still small picture. You've got to think bigger picture. And if you were really looking long-term into what this kind of industry could do for you, you know, financially and just with what your professional desires might be, you have to think bigger, like 1, 3, 5 years down the road. And I know people see people start these businesses and they're like off like a rocket and they are just finding success so fast. That is not something that happens to everybody, and it is also not something that happens for no reason. The people who launch quickly to success, like I started this business and I was like off like a rocket from the first day. Literally, I had sales the first hour that I posted about this, not because of who I am, but because of who I've built myself into and what I've connected with people and how I've been social and become somebody that people trust over my 10 years in this industry and being social on Facebook and putting myself out there and making relationships. So that is the type of person who's going to go fast quickly, who's going to go far quickly. I wasn't like that when I started my first company at all. It's all a building process. You have to think big picture of where you're going to be and where you're going to take yourself through the personal development and the work you do. That's all I've got for you today. I do want to point out later, I got this package in the mail, which is a pretty scary package. This is literally how it arrived. But I'm dying to try this. Look at how smashed this box is. Great packaging, guys. This is called the Vamp Stamp, and I'm so excited to try this. And this is a stamp for like a little winged eyeliner. Should be fun, but I'm not going to do that right now because I am really thirsty and I need to go get something to drink. But that's another little fun little Facebook Live I'm going to do because this looks hilarious to me. That's all I've got for you guys today. If you do have referrals, I would love to hear them. I would love you to connect me with people who you think would fit my, oh, Nikki, you love your Vamp Stamp. Yay. Who you think would fit my like little business description that I just laid out, because those are my ideal peeps that I want to network with and partner with. And I really appreciate you guys watching, and I would love to hear your funny stories. If you've ever been bamboozled into a crazy, I didn't know this was coming, network marketing presentation. Bye, guys.